girls are home for last night.
No sleep in at least 2 days.
No, views are good though.
Good morning. Today I woke up excited to finish bolting a new drytooling route I started a few weeks ago and have been procrastinating like crazy. So before I go, I thought I'd talk about ice tools, which is what is used to climb snow slopes, ice climbs, and dry tool routes, like one I'm hoping to finish today. The goal here is not to tell you what to use, it's to help you figure out what works for you based on your current ability and where you want to go in the future as a climber, so that you can make the right investment. If you noticed by now, my hope is to save people money. And I feel like frugality has always been a part of climbing community, even though we buy ridiculously expensive shit. So let's talk about general mountaineering axes in this video and technical tools in the next. Before you purchase, you have to be brutally honest with yourself about your abilities now and where you want to take your climbing in the future. If you're just getting into mountaineering, or you're not spending a lot of time on steep terrain quite yet, you are usually better off with something simple. Axes like Blue Ice Bluebird or Black Diamond Raven, or whatever Petzl is offering at the moment. I haven't heard of their general mountaineering axes breaking in half, but wouldn't be surprised. So these are more traditional axes. They're better for climbing terrain of about 40 degrees and less and general snow travel. And this is important. If you haven't practiced self-arrest 100 times, this is what you should be using. And you should not expose yourself to steeper slopes quite yet, till you do practice self-arrest with whatever general mountaineering axe that you have, not something more aggressive. Length matters too. If you are on the lower angle terrain, go longer, especially if you are tall. If you expect steeper slopes around 45 degrees or more, go shorter, something like 50 to 55 centimeters, depending on your height and consistency of slopes you are trying to climb. Then you move into lighter and more technical axes, things like Blue Ice Hummingbird, Black Diamond Venom, Black Diamond Venom LT, or at least that's what I used to have. It's been discontinued since. These are for a bit steeper terrain, around 45 to 55 degrees, and people who have done some practice with self-arrest. Though if you know or plan to do a lot more mountaineering and you don't want to buy multiple axes, I would probably just buy the Hummingbird and practice self-arrest with it on slopes that are less steep, just so you can get used to how it handles. These are great tools for experienced climbers. Some very strong climbers can climb fairly difficult terrain using something like the Hummingbird, or especially if you have two of them, but that's not what they're designed for. Then you have even lighter options, the Blue Ice Aquila or Aquila LT, Petzl Gully, and so on. These are more aggressive, more minimal, and very lightweight. I personally like tools like the Aquila LT for really big days, or for acclimation on big mountains. If I was going up something like the West Buttress on Denali, I would consider Aquila LT. But for most people, I would say 90%, you're better off with something less technical and a little bit heavier than that. Whatever you can get for cheap if you are on a budget. My first ice axe was a 75 centimeter monster from like the 60s. I swear it was heavier than my double boots. It was ridiculous. But if you are on a budget, you will find your way into the mountains with whatever gear you can afford. The larger tools are more forgiving and easier to learn on. Blue Ice Hummingbird is like a BMW. Aquila is more of a Ferrari, but a lot more appropriate for an experienced climber than the Ferrari is for just your typical freeway driving. So the mistake I see is a lot of people jumping straight to the lightest or most aggressive option because it looks cool, or because they think lighter is always better. But in reality, the best tool is the one that matches your experience and terrain you actually see yourself climbing. And the lightest tool can put your life in grave danger, because if you compare something like the Aquila LT to a general mountaineering axe, you will see how much thinner the pick of the axe is in comparison. Self-arrest on snow is a lot harder with such an aggressive pick that is designed to cut into neve and alpine ice. So be careful and don't try to buy the most advanced piece of gear as quickly as possible. Give yourself time to adapt. Most of the time, gear that is appropriate for the job is less sexy than people want. So if you are on a budget and don't see yourself becoming Reinhold Messner anytime soon, just get a basic axe from Facebook Marketplace for like $25 and you will be just fine. If you have more money or can use somebody else's pro deal, or there's a sale, this becomes a lot more reasonable and affordable. In the next video, I'll get into technical ice tools, the kind of tools you actually climb steep ice and mixed routes with on expeditions or long routes in the mountains in general, and how to choose those for bigger objectives. So I will see you in part 2. Thank you for watching.